I want to share with you something that's kind of at the bleeding edge of my thinking. That's something that I'm defining right now, even as it comes out of my mouth, but that has it's created a bunch of clarity for me around some really important aspects of what I do and how to share that with you. Like, what makes my marketing effective? Why am I so valuable to clients? Why am I able to create results for clients? And it's all aligned around this like new title or identity. And when you shift your identity and you build behaviors and capabilities around that identity, and you build systems around that identity, what can end up happening is you can unlock some brand new opportunities, because this identity shift is and everything that comes with it has the potential to create a ton of value. And I know that feels really heady right now, but I want to get down into the weeds with this. So this title, this job role, this whatever you want to call it that I'm thinking of right now is it's conversion architect. Conversion architect. So if you think like, what's an architect, right? An architect is someone who designs a building, right? Like the architect is not out there like nailing boards together. They may have that capability, but that's not necessarily what they do. What they do is before the heavy equipment shows up at the job site to even start digging the hole for the foundation, the architect goes in and they design everything that needs to happen, short of like the paintings that are going to be hung on the wall and the color paint choices and all of that. So they don't necessarily deal in the superficial details, but they create the entire framework for, it could be a house, it could be a skyscraper. Like they create the framework that is going to support an entire building, right? And the architect lays out all these plans for what needs to be in place for a building to work, right? For a building to stand for decades. And so add that to conversions, right? And conversions, it's the marketing term, right? It's our goal is to create a customer. Our goal is to get leads, customers, sales, and profits. Now, there are all sorts of different things that you can do to do that. And one of the major forms of conversion architecture, like you think office building, right? Like that's a major form of building, right? One of the major forms of conversion architecture is understanding how to build funnels. And so understanding all the moving pieces that go into funnels. But there's other types of campaigns. So there are webinar campaigns. There are there's calendar campaigns where you're just laying out and blasting into your list. There's all these different types of campaigns. But the person who understands, okay, here's the traffic. Like, here's where we can get traffic, or here's where we can get our message in front of potential buyers. Here is our eventual goal that is going to give us the economics that support being able to roll this out. Like the goal being conversions and cart value and so on. And then here is the process to convert those along the way. What you end up doing is you end up saying, okay, well, we're going to need all these Facebook ads, or we're going to need emails to drive traffic, and we're going to need landing pages to get people to sign up, just like a opt-in page. We're going to need a VSL or multiple VSLs. We're going to need email follow-up campaigns for the people that don't convert at first. We're going to need an order form. We're going to need upsells. We're going to need all of these different elements, right? And understanding how to like blueprint that, like an architect does blueprints, right? Understanding how to blueprint that, how to lay that out especially today online, where most ad costs in most markets are driven by people who, whether they've ever called themselves this or not, are conversion architects, meaning they build these complex systems that are much more than, hey, you click my Facebook ad, you go to the page where you can buy it, and you buy it, right? Honestly, like Amazon, for most of the products that they sell, does not have a very complex conversion architecture. And a lot of e-commerce does not have or need a complex conversion architecture. But when you get into more complex selling situations, whether you're selling services and there's multiple steps in the sales process, or you're selling lower ticket stuff where there are introductory offers or welcome mat offers or tripwire offers, whatever you're going to call it, or like a self-liquidating offer, free plus shipping, whatever that is, and then you have some higher end offers. Like there's all of these different ways to do it. And the better that you understand what blueprints are out there and available and like proven in the marketplace, and what blueprints are needed to be adapted to our current situation, the better that you understand that, like the more value you can bring before you even get into the superficial details of marketing, which is writing copy and design and all of that, right? So if you're going to sit down and you want to create a conversion system, if you want to create a funnel for a client, like what does the architecture need to look like for that? What is the conversion architecture that needs to be in place, that all of the copy is going to be, it's going to be the paint on the walls, it's going to be the decoration, it's going to be the furniture, like all of that. In the end, that's what people see and pay attention to, right? And if you're looking at like a competitor's funnel, what you see and pay attention to is the copy, because it's all the superficial stuff. Like if you walked into their office, you'd see all the superficial stuff. But that office doesn't stand without, without all of the support infrastructure, without all of the without all the framing of the office building. It doesn't work without the plumbing and without the electrical, and it doesn't work without all that stuff going on behind the visual stuff, right? And so I don't have I don't have a ton of like calls to action from this, I suppose. Besides, I wanted to share with you that more and more of my, like, this is something I've done unconsciously in the past, right? It's something that is built into like my webinars that sell training is all about like the structure of the campaign first, followed by the superficial details of what the copy needs to say. Creating a client funnel project from scratch when I did that live training for BTMS Insiders, like that was all about this, and the recording is available. And so I've been doing this stuff for a while. I'll include the links in the description for this to those trainings. But I've been doing this stuff for a while. But what I'm planning on doing here is making it more conscious, more intentional, more like immediately kind of plug and play. Like you see, oh, Roy gives me this blueprint and I can copy this blueprint. And so I would encourage you, like, think about this. Think about, I may think of myself as a marketer or like a Facebook advertising person or an email person or a copywriter. I write VSLs, whatever, right? I may think of myself as that, but how can this extra layer of conversion architecture, how can that contribute to my total success with the client? And a good architect is going to think through a lot of details, like what is the experience of walking into the building? What's where does the flow of traffic go inside the building? How do people find what they're looking for? Is it natural to be able to get to the spaces that you need to get to? All of that, like that is the thinking of an architect, but that's also the thinking of you if you are a conversion architect. And all of those things, like the more natural your entire conversion architecture is structured to be or is built as, the easier it is for a ideal prospect to just kind of find their way towards the purchase, right? And that's exactly what we want, and that's what creates conversions, and that's what creates profits in marketing. So think about that. Think about conversion architecture. You're certainly going to see more from me on that. I'm even considering, as I move forward especially with new clients, figuring out a way to offer a conversion architecture as like the first step in working with me, because I find it so critical. I will help you define the conversion architecture that you need to have, regardless of if I write copy with you. And some of that's going to include and here's what the copy needs to do or say at these different steps, and all of that. Like, it's all related to the offer, and it's related to the technical capabilities and the media choices that you use and all of that, right? But this conversion architecture, it's how you bring everything together. And whenever somebody is building a building, they're always going back to the architect's blueprints, and they're saying, where does this fit in? Like, how are we turning this blueprint into reality? And when you have that, and when you figure that out, and like Russell Brunson's saying, like, one great funnel can transform your life. Like, that's what he's talking about. Like, once you get that funnel in place, like that is exactly what you need to create a ton of marketing success. But it's not just a funnel, it's any kind of conversion architecture that you want to put out there. So leave a comment below. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable did you find this and why? And like, what are your big takeaways? What are your action items? How does this resonate with you? Click that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you. And so the magical algorithms of the internet will share it with more people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly and subscribe before you go. You can subscribe here. You can also go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com, get my daily emails Monday through Friday, including these videos and exclusive content for email subscribers, and check out the links in the description for that, as well as for my webinars that sell and creating a client funnel project from scratch. If you're interested in conversion architecture, those would be 2 incredible places to start. Again, my name is Roy Furr. This has been a video issue of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I always aim for that 10 out of 10 value. I believe that this concept delivers it. I hope that you agree, and I look forward to seeing you again in your next video issue. I'll see you soon. Bye.